Starting recording. So welcome everyone on board. Where is everyone? Who is everyone? Check in with me or us. So say hello to Amelia and Amy. So Christy, good. Hello, y'all.
There we go.
Okay, who's next?
Martina. Hi, Martina.
Good. We have some newbies here. We have Cherry.
Yes.
Hi, Cherry. Who's here? I think I know this guy. Hi, Peter. Who else is here? Let me check it out. I'm sneaking around. Hi, Kathy. Okay. Pacific. Oh, okay. Good. So for those guys who are already here, a small introduction. This is Romans with Romans Canine Training. Next to me, oops, this way. Next to me is Amelia. No, right, this way, right? Amelia Johnson. And please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Amelia Johnson on the East Coast. I have a dog with a blog called Your Pet's You. I have been a pet professional all my life, and I hesitate to tell you how many decades that is. But it's been in various I'm at a loss for words. You know, grooming, pet sitting, dog grooming, horse training, you name it. I've pretty much done it.
Good, good. So how about Emmy?
I'm also from the East Coast. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a nurse and a dog lover. And actually, I have Ruby here with me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to let you see Ruby, but Ruby, come here. Come on. I have to lure her with a treat. This is Ruby.
Oh, Ruby!
She's my 4-year-old rescue. I've had her for 2 years, and she's pretty awesome.
Well, don't use the word rescue anymore. Admit.
No.
So, who else is here on board? Okay, a little bit the rules. I know some people are watching here on the side and want to join maybe later. The rules number 1, if you want to join and ask Amelia and Amy live a question or myself a question, you have 2 options. The one is you set the question on the question recording by starting with a / and a Q and add your question. It's like / Q, blah, 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 your question. If your question is good and you want to set up next to us, we will invite you on our chair. Exactly. Thank you so much. I see Amelia is a pro. Okay. And then you can join us. So these smart people who want to join the group to tell how good they are on their business, and it's nothing to do dog related, zoop, they're gone. Yep, exactly. Share Twitter. You have all this stuff here. You come up with all this fancy stuff. So it's not the advertising panel here. Okay, thank you. Wait, I have something for you too, right? You know that. Everybody knows what's coming next, right? Yeah. So there is no way you come up here and just tell how good you are in your business. It's not the business advertising panel. So we do only it's only dog thing. We talk only about dogs. In that case, we talk about dog parks, and we don't talk about any else psychology, not about alcohol and everything else, just dog parks. And rule number 2, you can say whatever you want and be nice and polite, else zoop, you're gone. But I think our people who are here on board are, let's see who's here. I can see somebody here. Who is here? Kelly. Hi, Kelly, Christy. Okay, there are so many people. There are 24 people here. No, 9, but we have 24 visitors. So our theme today is dog park and safety. My question is what to look for and how do we make our dog safe? Amy, your turn.
Well, my experience with dog parks for a while was quite nice, but then I I started to encounter a lot of people who didn't have control over their dogs, who didn't monitor their dogs at the dog park, didn't clean up after their dogs. That was another big problem. And so I just quit going to the dog park for that reason. My dogs have never had a problem socializing with other dogs, but you know, I was just fearful that my dog would get attacked by another dog, so I just quit going.
Right, right. So, Amelia, how about you?
Well, I designed a dog park in Frostburg, Maryland, and I designed it so there would be 3 sections. And the center section is run by a kennel club that continues to educate the public. And they have agility equipment there, and they have obedience classes there. And then there's a small dog area and a large dog area. So those people that are attending the park are constantly being educated by watching the kennel club members train their dogs. And it sets the standard for them.
Awesome.
Plus, yeah, before I even created the park, it was 8 years of fundraising, and the fundraising involved me teaching puppies and adult dogs the AKC Star Puppy program, plus the Canine Good Citizen. So the dogs that were attending that park were already educated as to proper behavior, and their people understood what the proper behavior for dogs in a dog park should be. So I think any dog park should be set up for success.
So what were your problems with the environment there, with the locals and the people? Did you have any friction?
Are you still talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, setting up the dog park initially was what neighborhood would the neighbors be comfortable with the dog park? And we did have to change our venues a couple times before we got the park built, and finally ended up with a football field that was no longer being used. It had a concession stand and bathrooms, and all we had to do was basically fence the area and post the rules. And of course, continue to raise money every year because we have private contractors to maintain the park. But that particular neighborhood was already used to having a lot of traffic because of the football games. So the neighbors that we have there actually watch out for what goes on at the dog park. And it's been an ideal situation.
That's cool.
Do your dogs, do the dogs that go to that park, do they have to be registered or licensed to use the park?
The rabies vaccine is all that we really require because we have so many people coming in from out of state. The licensing doesn't really, it's not that effective.
Right.
And because we have created such a community of people with the college students there, plus the residents there that always used to have friction because the college kids would let their dogs run loose. Now there's no longer that friction. They have actually built bonds with each other and look out for one another.
That's awesome.
It is.
Yeah. So from my side experience as a dog trainer, my first thing when I started doing more professional work was, hey, let's go to the dog park and let's get some clients. So I was there walking in and I kind of saw a chaos. In Stamford, where I started doing professional work or full-time job, there were like the cliques, like the groups of people who basically occupied the dog park with their dogs. So everybody like of these groups, small groups, would occupy a certain amount of hours. They would go at 9 to 10. So if they were there and you come in with your dogs, you have to face their dogs and them. Like, who are you to come in our group? Like, dude, it's a town park. Everybody can come in. Oh, we don't like your dog. Like, okay. So it became a friction because if you come in with a dog, like even alone, you will have to face all these dogs coming up to you, whether uncontrolled, uneducated, messy. Some of them had open wounds, cancer. Okay, slobbering on the same water bowl. And I was like, what's going on here? Nobody would clean up the yard, and it was a pretty central dog park. So it took me kind of a week or two to completely go away from that part. I said, these dog people are not people who want to be educated, so they are not potential clients on my side. The dogs that are there are out of control. I don't want to risk my dogs there. And everybody asked me, I should bring my dog to the dog park so I can socialize him. I would say, like, it's not a good idea. And I remember 3 or 4 people that I told them not to go there, and they went there. They ended up in trouble. And one of them lost even his dogs because he had to put him down. So I think as long as the dog parks are not regulated, at least from the town, or as you do, Amelia, like organizing board members, it's a dangerous roulette being in a dog park. Not a place to educate your dog, not a place to train your dog, not a place to socialize your dog. You can't even have a coffee on your own because you will have all these dogs on your plate. Right?
It's true.
So then people are forced to kind of create smaller groups and maybe have like backyard meetings with 1 or 2 dogs once in a while, which create another problem of monosocialization. You think your dog is well educated and you only can play with 3 dogs and that's it. If this is a 3rd dog or 4th dog, they're gone. They kind of get aggressive. So I thought something had to be changed. So I started creating small training groups. I said, guys, I'm coming over here once a week. Everybody who wants to come over can join the training. And then I had a fight that's coming on. If you want to advertise in your business, do it like on Google. I was like, I'm not advertising my business. I just want to help people here doing the job. If somebody finds me, ask me my card, I can give you my card, but it's not my purpose. I want just my clients who come over here to be safe in the area. So that kind of backfired because then there was a rule on the mark, like no advertising and no trainers or pet sitters on that board. I said, okay, bye. And that was it. But here in Austin is a little bit, it's better. Austin is better, a little bit more organized. The parks are bigger. Amy, what was your question?
I was going to say, it's a shame that people couldn't advertise there who were trainers and dog sitters, because some people don't have the resources, or they just happen to be there and say, oh, look at this, and pick up some information.
You could apply to put your card on the board, but finding some board members is impossible because there was no name on it. So you had to really go through the town and apply and see who's responsible on the park. And you find somebody who will answer the email maybe once a month. Well, okay. It gives a kind of hard time.
Well, let me address that from what we encountered in Frostburg. And that was the insurance liabilities with having a trainer there. If they would have their own $1 million policy and sign up with the city, then they could be there. Otherwise, we had the Kennel Club there that was doing a training, and they did have their own insurance policy. So that's what you run into with a public park. All of those, I's needed to be dotted and the T's crossed so that the city itself doesn't get into trouble with having a professional trainer come in that is not registered.
Okay. Yeah. So let me try something here that I thought it will work. Kind of sneaky, try to bypass technology. So I kind of posted as a question here because I think it will be helpful. Like this, and then I copy paste. Yay! I think I did
there it. There you go.
Okay, right. So I prepared something and I was thinking it could be visible. So I think you can scroll it down. Okay. Amy, do you agree with that? You want to read through that and see if something that kind of covers?
Yeah.
Can you see it or do I scroll it?
No, I can see it.
Okay, can you scroll it or is it only me that can scroll it?
It shows up totally, pretty much.
The whole thing shows up.
Okay, good.
Almost. It ends at one of the most reported problems is that irresponsible dog.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
And
good.
then at the end, maybe I can sneak around again and add some liability stuff going on. Okay, I think I can do that. Come on.
Kelly, do you want to answer Kelly's problem or question, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead. Answer the question.
Yeah, Kelly, at the dog park that I created, everybody is responsible for their own injuries. So we always recommend people take their cell phones and know who your dog is playing with, and definitely take pictures while the play time is going on so that you can identify that dog. But every owner is responsible. And actually, it's not even a dog that starts the fight so much as the dog that does the damage. Okay. And that has worked out. In the 5 years that park, it's 6 years now, that park has been open. There have only been a couple skirmishes, and both of it has been irresponsible owners or people taking rescue dogs in from the shelter that they know nothing about, but they take them
Correct.
there to socialize, and the dog park is not a place to socialize. It's only for socialized dogs. The other was a young man with a Siberian Husky that kept mounting other dogs, and then all the other dogs would get too excited, and there would be skirmishes there. Now, nothing really dangerous happened, but I had to ask him to leave the park because you could see that it was going to build, and other people were going to start beating up on him, not his dog.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So, Amelia, maybe you want to add your website while Emmy does her round.
It is yourpetsview.com, and you will see a few more blog posts there on how we got the dog park started. And you can read, about the conflict triggers and fundraising, all of that went into it.
Okay, I'll put, maybe if you have a chance, you can copy paste that link and post that link here so people can directly go there. And I'll post something on the Facebook page. I advertised it. So anyone have any other questions? So I see here some long-term followers. Hi, Steve. Hi, Steve. You're in UK. Hello to UK. And Shelton, New York City. Yeah, New York City has a hard time with their dog care and parks. Like so many people, like in columns, all the way millions of people in columns, and you have a small dog park. I mean, I kind of feel bad about the dog walkers walking all these dogs over there. That's kind of a tough job on its own.
Roman,
so has everybody question?
Yeah, Roman, I actually have a question. You may have covered it in another lab, but I've never had this happen to me. But what do you do when your dog's attacked? And what do you step in between them? Do you risk getting bitten? Do you try to pull them apart? You don't want your own dog getting torn up. Thankfully, that's never happened to me.
Yep, I totally agree with you. I would give it an example. I would give it a weird example. The questions answered is similar to say, I jump out of the plane. How do I check my parachute? I know it's extreme, but the idea is once it happens, it's hard to give advice what to do because it depends on so many factors.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. In general rule, the first thing I do when I get here a dog, which I in the future will integrate in a play group, is first of all introducing the basic commands. And before I introduce the basic commands is I introduce him communication skills. Number one, how do I get my dog's attention? Number 2, how I communicate with my dog. Number 3, how the dog complies to the rules. If you don't have these 3 rules basic, you should not go to the park. You should not have your dog off the leash. You should not introduce your dog to other people and not to other dogs. Because if you don't control that basic 3 triangle situation, you will not be able to help your dog if he gets in trouble. So rule number 1 that I do is teaching the dog the basic my communication cue is look. And look basically just makes the dog attracted to check in with me and get further instructions. It's not look at my face. It's not a command. It's basically a trigger word as much as your phone is ringing and you are attracted to pick up and see, who is that? Okay? The phone didn't tell you pick me up. It just made ring, ring, right? But your whole body, all of a sudden, you stop peeing, you run over the phone to see who that is, right? That's condition. So that's the attraction that you want from your dog. The moment you say, look, it's like your phone ringing. He has to come over and check in with you and says, what do you want? Right? Then step number 2, once you have that, you need to talk to him, because the word look is not a command, it's a trigger for the dog's input to be open up and expect him your cue. So look, what? Come. Okay. And he comes over to you, then you ask him to sit. That's the basics. And then the leftover is maybe touch his collar and put him his leash on and get out of there as soon as possible. So one thing that we need to understand, that the dogs in that situation, we need to be able to recognize the dog's state of mind. In other words, you're driving a car, the cop pulls you over, you have a suspicious car, you know the license plates are not up to date and your insurance is off, and you see this guy is really like, you don't want to get in a fight with this guy. He pulls you over and he asks you a simple question, can I have your driver license, please? What do you do there? Are you talking about your grandmother that's sick in the hospital and you're driving fast there to help her, and because your uncle couldn't get it there, you just be quiet, pull your license and show it to him, and don't aggravate him more than he already is. Because in that state of mind, this person who just pulled you over is scared of death, that you may be not the person he suspects you are. Don't argue with him. You cannot tell him what to do, because this person is into his drive to check you out. Just like a dog who runs up to you or up to your dog, he doesn't care, nothing else, just make contact. What is your dog up to? Who are you? How do you smell like? What did you eat? Are you healthy? How's your emotional state of mind? What's your next step? If your dog does the wrong move, and that's why you see the dogs freezing, and they don't move, like, get it done, then it's my turn. Okay? So if you have that intensity in the dog park, it's unhealthy, it's unbalanced. So imagine you have 15 cops there running around trying to cut a ticket the first dog who comes in. It's a mess. The dog feels so uncomfortable, becomes timid, and the most likely one wrong move gets in a dog fight. So the answer, what happens if a dog gets in a dog fight in that situation? God help you, you find something there to help you out. I don't know. It depends on the situation. You would fight with one dog, a group of dogs will come over and help them out. So it becomes a pack drive to help that dog who starts yelling and screaming. And you are part of the bad guys who interferes in a situation that you are not able to control. So either the one dog who bites your dog bites you, or your dog doesn't see it coming and bites you by accident. But being bitten is like 99% a chance. And I have a few videos. Unfortunately, I cannot post them here. I tried, but the system doesn't recognize the video. You can Google dog fights in dog parks, and you'll see how people go in there. Now, there is a factor when that dog is engaged with another dog. There are 3 options. The one is he is trying to restrain the dog, meaning is the dog will bite, but in that force that he will not lose the dog that he's restraining. Number 2, he wants to hurt the dog. He wants him to send a lesson. So his bite force will hurt the dog to the point that the dog will yelp. And number 3, he's about to kill the dog until he's not moving anymore. So which situation are you dealing with? If it's a first situation where the one dog is correcting the other dog by creating pressure or restraint, the more you pull, the harder he will bite. So option number 1, get this dog's attention. Make noise, use a water bucket, use a water sprayer, yell, scream, use a ball, squeaky toy, whatever you find, get this attention back. It needs only one turn of his head to get his attention back, and then you can kind of swoop in between without touching them. You have the right to walk through them, and you may not get a bite. And you will see it in a dog situation. If 2 dogs are getting weird, there is one dog who goes in between and just passes by or stands in front of them and barks at them. What does that mean? This guy who gets in a fight and the guy who's standing outside as a referee will not get engaged in that fight and not escalate that fight. I call these healers. Okay, these type of dogs who don't get involved, I call them healers. They start to make sense into the dogs by barking at them. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Don't get excited. Calm down. Calm down. And they bark at the person or the dog who started it. You can see who they correct. So don't touch the other dog, because the dog knows who is offensive and who is defensive. Okay, so focus you and help the dog who's trying to take care of business. Help him there, but don't touch in there. Don't get in a fight. Okay. The option that the dog is about to send the dog a lesson by biting him in order to hurt. I hope your dog is smart enough and doesn't fight back. You have again the option: water, fire extinguisher, horns, squeaky toys, chairs, whatever you want. Try to restrain and not to pull away the dog who has the other dog in his mouth. You can take a chair. Let me show you here. I should have a dog somewhere here. I need a volunteer. Oh, right, Sandy. Sandy is the one. Okay, and let me do that here. Yeah, she has that too, right? So the one thing is, and I don't have a chair. My chairs are weird. Let me show that. Let me go here further close. Here we go. Okay. Can you see the dog here? Kind of. Here we go. Good. So I recommend, and that recommendation is, hey guys, how it's going on? Yeah, we're going for a walk. Not exactly. Okay. So what I do, the first thing I do, I use a regular leash. Okay, and what I do, I throw the heavy part under the dog's body and grab the other side and grab it here. What next you can do is you can let go and you create a sling. Can you see that, right?
Yes.
The next thing I do is I don't pull back. I just create a pressure. That pressure where the dog becomes uncomfortable. He cannot go forward and he doesn't have room to run around. And you can slightly lift his back legs. Just a little bit. Can you see I can fit my shoes underneath?
Yes.
Not higher. This way the dog doesn't have a power to go forward and back. If he gets too uncomfortable, he may release the dog that he has in his mouth to get rid of the pressure. He will not be able to get you because he will not be able to make a U-turn because you're holding him up. The best thing he can do, he can bite his butt, but never get to you. Okay? So again, that's not a recommendation to do it the first time. You can try it using your dog, but just put it underneath and see how he reacts to that and see what effect it has, because every dog reacts differently. If you do it to a Mastiff, okay. If you do it to a Pit, well, you're in trouble. If you do it to a Chihuahua, you will not have that kind of leash to be able to do that. So it depends on the situation. I saw and I tested it yesterday with a dog with a high prey drive. who basically was about to kill my Sandy. He was killing her, but I saved her by using exactly that application. But the good thing is she never bites back.
Yeah.
Any questions to that? So Crystal is typing something. I completely lost that. They are Korean hunting dogs. What? I missed something. Okay, Jindo, yeah. Yeah, elevator. Yeah, that's a tricky situation. You can always deny going access into elevator. You can always deny going into a dog park. And I suggest people who go in the dog park before they enter the first time in the dog park. And Amelia will kind of confirm that the dog park has 3 parts. It's the main part, the introduction area, which is enclosed area, maybe 10 by 10 or something, which is highly fenced and has a gate both sides. Both doors open inwards. And the next level is the big yard where the big park is. Then you have another section, which are the small dogs. Usually I've seen in dog parks that they are attached to each other by sharing the same entrance and the same introduction area.
Whoa.
So you have a center introduction area, and you have a big area and a small area, and you have to go through first and divide yourself right and left. So I think that's the minimum safety you can provide without going into high expenses. And I would not recommend to have a small dog park in a big dog park, and you have to walk all the way through to get the dog park. That's unacceptable. So back to the situation that you get in the dog fight, to the last resort where the dog is attacking the other dog to death, like with option to kill, and you can see the situation. I don't want to explain it. Things go wrong. You can do nothing about that because the dog will not release. In that drive, in that extent of a drive, the best way to get the dog out is through fear of death, because the dog will not let go. His job is to continue until it's done. That's it. So dogs are bred for that. They will not let go. Come here, baby. Come here. I know you want to join the team. Okay, I know. Here we go. Okay. You see, it's kind of a team member. So in that engagement, the only thing I want you to do is stay safe. Best case scenario, the dog that is in his mouth is smart enough to play dead, pass out, and drop dead or in coma. And the dog will let go and walk away from it. But the dog who did it is still under such condition that he will attack anything that moves, including your foot. His adrenaline level is so high, he doesn't feel pain. He doesn't understand where he is. He doesn't see clearly because all his brain function is minimized to his mouth and to any sensory that's caused by a move. So to solve that problem, you can only go through fear of death, because the dog doesn't feel any pain, but the only thing he feels is his breath. He doesn't breathe, he would stop it. But again, you're putting yourself in danger by touching the dog. Going into his collar, you get guaranteed a bite. And they are fast. He can do 14 movements per second.
Wow.
You cannot even do one. And his perception of processing is as much as a Formula One driver or a pilot on an Air Force plane. That's the speed he's processing. If we do like 4 decisions per second, they do 14 decisions per second. And that's a lot. Meaning if you have a slow motion video doing 240 frames per second, you will recognize maybe per frame 2 or 3 moves. And that's a lot. Meaning body, head, you will see them still interacting while you see this slow motion video. And your voice will sound like there was no. Okay? So if you are in there, don't touch it, don't get in there unless you have tools and experience to divide the fight. You can use water, you can use a sprinkler, you can use a squeaky toy, you can use a chair, just don't get in there. The good thing is with organized parks, and Amelia will kind of recognize it, there are people who just see it coming and call it off by creating a kind of a bark voice, hey, come up, or look, or whatever. Like it should have a pick of a correction. Calling your dog sweetie, come back doesn't help him at all. Okay, because it's not him, it's the other guy who gets in trouble. So the message has to get there. So somebody asked a question. I missed it. Who is that? Oh, Amelia did the question?
But it's from Kelly.
Oh, good. I hope I didn't miss anything.
No, it's
So,
right there.
did I-
Do you see it?
Okay. I see only. What do
I've
I
heard
see? I
that.
see only a question.
Yeah, I've heard that temperament of dog called a finisher in respect to prey drive, was her comment.
Well, yeah. I call them teachers. The dog who is a finisher, as a hunting expression, is the guy who will take care of business. He will basically kill. A healer will not be able to do that, and a companion dog wouldn't do it either. So the owner. Well, yeah, the answer is correct. It's kind of expression. The finisher is the one who kills the animal. In the hunting thing is the other guys will restrain the animal in the confined area, and the other dog will go and kill it. Yeah, you don't want to be in that one. So other questions? Thank you for the question, Emmy, by the way.
Thanks. All this dogfight talk has got Ruby all upset. She's right here. She's like, all this dogfight talk.
So, Christy,
gosh.
so where do you socialize without the risk? So, how do you socialize the dog? First of all, I would organize myself, just visit the dog park in times that you are available, and just hang out there with them without your dog. Get comfortable with the environment, get comfortable with the people that are that time frame there. Talk to them and interact with them, meet the dog, see how they interact with each other, see if this is a good match.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing that you would do is I would bring my dog, in your car, of course, bring water, bring a water ball, and hang out outside of the park. Let the dog feel driving with your car to the dog park, and just let him hang out there. In that case, he will be more comfortable driving with your car. Reaching there doesn't mean I'm going in the park. So what you do is you basically control his excitement level. Okay, you want to make comfortable that because I'm driving, it doesn't mean we end up in the park. Once you feel your dog that he gets used to not getting in the park and he just hangs around and sniffs and pees and poops, whatever he does outside of the yard, then you're pretty much ready next time to go into that park a little bit earlier than most people come in. Let him be kind of the first guy to go in. Grab the leash and show him his confined space by turning and start on the direction where your dog usually, I love you too, I know. Sorry guys, we have a relationship here. Start with your dog in the direction that he most likely likes to turn. Okay? So you will see your dog makes a left turn or a right turn. Use that turn to walk through the park so he can easily memorize himself. It's his comfortable direction. Some dogs are right wind, some dogs are left wind.
Mm-hmm.
So you just walk around, let him smell around, show him the area, show him where the water ball is. Bring your own water ball and your own water bottle. And only leave it down when you feel the dog needs water. Call him in, give him the water, let him drink. Make sure that all this pack comes over to you drinking from the same water bowl. You don't know the other dogs. Giardia is rule number 1 to suspect in a dog park, in a public dog park. It needs only one step on your dog and one of that poop. He brings it home, he cleans him up, he has Giardia. And it shows up in 3 weeks. You don't even remember what happened 3 weeks ago. And the only way to treat it is by treating your whole team in your house, not only one dog. So treatment for all the dogs, because they're definitely if infected, drinking from the same bowl, eating from the same food bowl, or taking the treat from the same hand. They go through salvia and through poop. They're definitely infected. So you have to treat all the dogs. And once it's done and your dog feels comfortable and you see the first dogs coming, get out of the park again, let the other guys running around, and introduce him inside in the confined small introduction area. Let him feel like being there and let the other dogs meet him. Off the leash, he should be free on range. He should not be on the leash. And if he gets upset, don't interfere. Let him figure it out how to calm the other guys out that are on the other side of the fence. If he cannot handle that, don't get in the park. If in less than 20 seconds he will not be able to calm down, give it another try next day. So use the 20-second rules. Then the next level is 3 minutes. If he cannot be able to relax in the park in the last 3 minutes, try another day. Get him out, come back again another day. So he should learn that an excitement is not the way to keep him in the park. You have anything to add or remove, Amelia?
Yeah, I do. You mentioned the small and large dog gate where they both entered basically through the same first gate, was the way I understood it. One of the things in dog park design is those gates should be in the center of the fence line, never in a corner, because when you enter, those dogs can be cornered. So be careful if that's a dog park you're looking at. Don't go in there if you have a whole pack of other dogs in there. The other thing, the other mistake people make is they take their dog into the dog park, but they don't remove the leash immediately. So then their dog feels threatened because they have no way of moving away.
Correct. So the leash is restrained. You should be careful. They can be tangled up with that leash. So I would not leave the leash on. If you feel that you should have your dog's leash on, get to a market, get a very short leash, maybe like 12-inch, cut it off, and just let it hang. He will not step on the leash and nobody will grab the leash, but if you need it, you can grab it and get him back. And definitely no harness. No harnesses and no choke collars in the dog park.
Right.
The best thing that can happen is a dog will snap his teeth into the choke collar and will choke your dog while he will break his teeth. And if they play with a harness, one dog in this cuddle situation, and then he will tangle his foot in between, the harness, and he will break his leg, or they got in a fight just because of that.
Right.
Other questions? Christy, did that answer your question?
Chihuahuas. She's asking, what do you think of Chihuahuas?
The same thing I think of Mastiffs. They're awesome dogs.
I'm more afraid of Chihuahuas than I am of the large dogs.
Well, I think the reason why Chihuahuas have such a bad reputation is because, unfortunately, most of the owners don't recognize that Chihuahuas are dogs, think like dogs, and act like dogs. So I don't see the difference between a Chihuahua and a Mastiff in a behavior situation. The problem is if you don't respect any dog's time and private space, like personal space, every dog will become reactive. Unfortunately, we have a small dog like this one, so many hands going up to him and intimidating the dog that he becomes reactive. Meaning is, I would say, without any fear, more than half of all small dogs, like we call toy dogs, are emotionally abused, but this kind of wrong introduction and wrong socialization. They're over-socialized, they're intimidated, and the only way they can react is by being defensive. So imagine you are a small person, and all of a sudden you have a 15-square-foot hand coming up to you. How do you feel about that? It's the same thing. And especially puppies, in that phase, they're supposed to be socializing. they are still so small and the hands are so big and so many hands shifting around. They're being lifting from the floor on their own will. No, they will lift it by force. He doesn't want to come up to you and you pick him up. So unfortunately, I cannot blame the dogs on this one. Not at all. Every
Sure.
dog park in California has dog policies and every vet had vet policies. Yeah, right. I agree. So hi there. California, right? So do we have anybody here from the past, from a past blog? Who is that? Woman who, wow, cool, wow. Who's next here? Let's say hello to everyone. Hi everyone, this is Roman with Roman's Canine Training. We have Amelia next to us and we have Amy, and we're talking about dog parks and safety, and we have really a good session going on today. How much time do we left? I kind of lost track of time. Oh Jesus, we have only 4 minutes. So any final questions?
Let's invite the Lord in to talk about the policies in California.
Okay. I have to leave, I guess, because there is no open seat.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
good.
should be.
There's an open seat.
Good.
Yeah, there's an open
How do-
seat. Let him in.
How do we get him in?
Just go ahead and can you open it so they can call in?
I think it's open, right? Open the seat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good? No.
There.
No?
Nope.
Nope.
Now it's open. Okay. So what he has to do? He has to click on what? What? Can I invite him?
Just click on the open seat, apparently.
I did.
Okay.
So it's open. You can sit in.
Okay.
So
Well,
hi, Lopi. So how do we get there? Does he have a Google?
He may not.
Maybe he
come
doesn't
in.
have a Twitter. That's fine. Good.
No, he
Who's
does.
next?
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Very
he has
good.
to. Oh, okay. Let's see how we get him in. Let's try it.
Nope.
Nope, that's not working.
The Lord saves 12. Would you like to take a seat real quick? Maybe not. Okay.
Good. Okay, not a big deal. So I want to thank everybody of joining today, short notice. I think, oh, I see. Well, I use it the 3rd time or the 4th time. The reason why I have this, I think I like doing that on Sunday that time, but I never know exactly what we're talking about. We kind of short notice. Something that comes up through the week, I says, well, we should doing it. Like Amy kind of posted yesterday, like, well, we should talk about dog parks. And I was like, yeah, cool, we can do that. So I cannot add earlier the title if we don't know what we're talking about. Or unless we have an open question and then we talk about whatever comes up, which I would not be able to have anything ready until I found an option. So any suggestions, Amelia or Amy?
Well, it's springtime here in the East.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting there anyway. All those things that come up with perhaps over-exercising your dog, they're not in condition. So maybe conditioning your dog for, summer activity, spring and summer activity.
Good. Get your dog early bird ready.
And the
There you go. Oh gosh.
Good. Yeah, give me some input here. What should the title be? What do you think title will attract more people to follow us and get more information? Question to the group who's just sitting there joining and asking questions. What should be the next title be? about dogs getting early educated or early get ready and conditioned, right? I mean, Amelia did nice.
Right.
What should the title be?
Help for your couch potato dog.
Help for, good. Type it in, and we pick the best one. I'm not picking. New Media Radio joined. Hi, Marcel. So yesterday we had a sneak peek from Blab itself. They were kind of curious what happened. So many people are on it.
Oh, good.
So we have a question. What about puppies and aggressive dogs? Better to completely avoid contact. Well, I think the question answered himself.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do with my child and a killer? Do I meet him? Do I introduce them each other? And I want to point something out. The situation of a dog who is out of control in the park is nothing different than having a serial killer in your backyard playing with your child. There's nothing different. He has no good intention. The only thing he wants is to control, and if nobody complies to his control, he goes to the next level, and he will correct every dog who doesn't apply to his control. And if he doesn't comply to his control and he tries to fight back, he will kill this guy. So we are not joking. It's a dog similar to a killer who is about to kill your child in a dog park. That's it. And he shouldn't be there. And if you have suspicions that one dog may be like that, and I'm not saying just because he is a certain breed that assumes that he may kill your dog. Just not get in there. Just if you feel not good about it, you don't need to get in there. Go take him for a walk or in the city. Make friends. I don't know. If the other dog is aggressive but under control, well, a dog who is aggressive is not under control. Because if he would be under control, he would not be aggressive. Aggressive, you have to kind of define your question aggressive, because I don't see aggressive being under control. It's not. Oh, sorry to hear that. Your dog just died. If your puppy should not get involved and teach by a dog who is aggressive. They should not get in touch with each other. Yeah, undergut cancer. Yep, sorry to hear that. So what I would suggest is introduce your dog to regular play groups where he will learn good behavior for well-behaved dogs. So if I would be happy, I can do that. If I would be a happy owner and will introduce my puppy, I will introduce him to this guy here. Right? He's a cool dog. He nicely introduced himself. He's a little bit of pushy. I can take that. On the other end, I can still control every dog and call them back. Question, tell me what holistic dog training is. Is it the same as positive dog training? That's a good question. No, it's not the same. Positive dog training basically focuses on dogs' body signals, and holistic dog training is focusing on emotional signals. A positive dog trainer, if he asks a dog to sit and his dog sit, basically he has to reward the dog for sitting. If I ask my dog to sit and I don't feel my dog has a good intention and the only thing he wants is to jump out of the door, he will not get the treat for sitting. So I want to make sure that his emotional state is where I want him and not just his body language. Emotional or holistic dog training also implements factors as family systemic, health conditions, nutritional conditions, emotional state of mind, and excitement. So these are the factors that I always control when I do dog training, on holistic dog training. What's the subject? Exactly, it's on the title. Dog park safety, what to look for. Does this silent seizure explain your answer, your question? But you can learn more on my website, romanscanine.com. Well, how about you get in contact with me, Silent Seizure, and we can discuss it. I'm happy to talk to you about that.
Jess is
Um,
very Silent Seizure is actually Jess, and she
who is
is
Jess?
quite capable. Yeah, she has rescued some dogs and really
Awesome.
brought them around. So yeah, you two should connect. Definitely.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yep. Best thing to connect is through my website or through my Facebook page. Yep. I think the best way to rehab a dog with any situation, fear response or really aggressive dogs, the best way is holistic, because you can change the environment, you can reconnect the dog, you disconnect the dog from energy that affects him to make him be that who he is. I mean, just a short example to see the difference. I had a client who called me from Florida. He says, my dog is biting me. I want to get rid of my dog. I said, well, why do you think he's biting you? Well, he wants to get my attention. I says, cool, that's nice, awesome. So what do you do for that? He says, well, I punish him and I put him back in his crate because I don't want him to chew on me. I say, okay, good. So how do you feel about when he's doing that? He says, I'm getting meep, angry. That meep was the word he used, right? I says, cool. And then I kind of felt weird about it. And I says, how is your health condition? And he says, well, I'm okay. But he kind of changed his voice level. I says, what do you mean okay? Well, I take my medication. I'm fine. I says, what kind of medication do you take? Well, I'm bipolar and I'm manic depressive. I say, okay. And when does the dog bite you? Usually when I'm on my computer. Ah, interesting. And how do you feel when you're staying too long on your computer? Well, I'm getting upset. And? Well, sometimes I get depressive. And what does the dog do? Oh, usually he bites me. Interesting. And what would you suggest a person who is manic depressive when he gets depressive? Oh, you should go out for a walk. And let's pretend you are a dog. What would you do then? Well, I would, oh my God. You would bite and try to get your attention, to get you away from your desk, outside in nature. So what exactly did you want me to do with your dog? You want to surrender him? He's your therapy dog. He tells you exactly when it's time to get out of your desk and get out in nature and get some fresh air. It was kind of a minute quiet, and it's like, okay, thank you. That was it. Well, a regular trainer would just correct the dog for biting. From a holistic point of view, you have to see why the dog does what it does. There is no dog on this earth that does something without a reason. There's no way. Even if the dog, that sounds weird, has a reason. His chemicals are off. Why is his chemicals off? Well, because he has cancer, or he got a toxic shock, whatever. He does something for no reason. There's always a reason for that. So my opinion is dogs are perfect. We choose to put them in the wrong place, in the wrong time, in the wrong environment. I think that was my closing words. Amelia, you want to close? Or
I agree with you fully. Dogs are perfect at being dogs.
I agree.
Right? Yeah. That's what he's talking about. Yeah, kiss me. When my dog's going to have a bad day, you're going to smell it. She gets a vinegar smell on her head. Oh, interesting. Maybe you guys should switch. You should be your dog's therapy man. Yeah, that's good. Your system is in tune. I like that. Good. Why do you smell your dog?
I smell my dog all the time. Well, when I'm kissing her on the head, I smell it. So.
I see. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Well, let me ask you something. Silent Seizure. I forgot her name again.
Jess.
What was her name?
Jess.
Jess. Check your dog's ear and smell if that smell comes the same way of the ears. Maybe her immune system is down when she is not happy, or she has a bad day, and that affects her immune system, which triggers also the yeast infection to kind of blow out. Just kind of a guess. Okay.
She's a special kind of girl.
Yeah, Chanel. She's a Chanel girl. Good.
Oh gosh.
Then I guess I will close. So thank you very much for joining us today. This is Roman with Roman's Canine Training, and our Blobinar or Blub Q&A was about dog parks and dog safety. You're welcome
Thanks,
to
Roman.
join the club by following me. And I have on my website a section where you can basically log in and you can updates whenever we have kind of blobs. And thank you, Treeman, Australia. Yeah, he's here again.
Ben.
He's kind of a regular.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to Australia. We had yesterday somebody from England, not today. They're kind of busy doing the other stuff. So let's meet next Sunday, right? And Saturday.
Sounds
Keep posted.
All righty.
Have a nice day, guys. Enjoy your rest of the week.
Thanks, Roman. Take care, Amelia.
Bye. Bye-bye, Amy.
Bye.